Allman in the Morning. Common Sense Radio.
Good morning, you bunch of drunks.
As insufferable as Jake Tapper can be sometimes, when he's fair, we like it, right? Challenging Nancy Pelosi over that awful Kellyanne Conway joke.
I need to ask you about this crude joke that was told this week by a member of your caucus, Democratic Congressman Cedric Richmond, at the Washington Press Club Foundation annual dinner at the expense of White House counselor Kellyanne Conway. Take a listen.
And you can just explain to me that circumstance, because she really looked kind of familiar in that position there.
So, Leader Pelosi, the joke was sexist. It was disgusting.
Right.
Shouldn't the congressman apologize to Kellyanne Conway? And honestly, where is the Democratic Party in expressing outrage about this?
But I wasn't at the dinner. I'm just finding out about this. But the fact is, I'm still in a sort of a state of what is going on here, that the person who occupies the White House is the person who was on that hoop-de-doo and
so that's what you get from them. And thank goodness that we have continued every day seemingly to expose the Democratic Party for what it is. I'm not a word policeman, but had that been a Republican, they would have resigned by now. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Randy Tobler.
Gentlemen, we're about to enter the fascinating sphere of medicine.
From the cave, filled with water, weaponry, and all kinds of love, Dr. Randy Tobler.
Democratic women just will throw other women under the bus in an instant, won't they there, buddy?
Yeah, isn't it amazing? And if anyone would have made a comment about Valerie Jarrett or Hillary Clinton, well, they wouldn't have done that, or Huma Abedin or something like that, boy, can you imagine the uproar that would have happened over that?
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Unreal. So, hey, what do you think about this revamp of Obamacare? I know the one thing that I thought was fun is to watch Planned Parenthood squirm. They've been blathering on about how their abortions really aren't a main component of their work, and then when they're asked to give them up, they refuse, and so their funding is gone, at least in the current form of the bill. So that was an interesting situation.
Yeah, it's a challenge. It's like, we'll give you the money if you'll live true to your word, and walk the walk, not just your talk. Because, as you said, they divert money from the, from their general fund, from the abortions, and to help fund their whole operation. And they claim that the money they get from the government is not used in any way, shape, or form to fund the abortion operation. But we all know how those money, it's like a shell game in the background with the accountants and those Excel spreadsheets. And you know how that all gets mixed up and lost, in the mess. So I think it's great. It's like you stop that part of your enterprise, not a problem. We'll fund all that good stuff that you say you're doing.
Yeah.
You think they'll take them up on the gamble?
No, they said no. And so basically they admitted essentially that abortions are a big component of theirs and they can't live without it. So there you go. Also, what do you think about the tax subsidy? Which, I mean, there are some conservatives who are concerned about this tax credit that is part of the bill because they say it's still a subsidy and they don't like it. I mean, we've seen the individual and employer mandates ripped apart, which is good. But what do you think about this tax credit?
Well, I think the mandates are good to a point. I actually have been an advocate for a mandate for catastrophic insurance, that everyone ought to really have catastrophic insurance. There's a move towards that because in this bill, they're basically saying they're lowering the defined, that people don't have to buy that gold-plated, extravagant benefit type plan, whether you're 20 or whether you're 60, and you can have more choice in the plan that you want. The way I stand on the tax credits and the refundable tax credits and up to $75,000, I guess it starts phasing out. Then after $75,000, up to $200,000 and no tax credit after that. Where I stand is, Jamie, one way or another, the public is going to pay for utilization of health care services by those who can't afford to buy insurance, one way or another. And I would rather have people participate in the market, both the insurance market, when it comes to buying that insurance for that very rainy day, trauma, cancer, maternity, those serious things, heart attacks, but also from the day-to-day things, the visit to the doctor's office, the blood test, the x-ray, the sprained ankle. Because if people have tax credits, and again, remember, folks on Medicaid are going to access these services indiscriminately. They have a $2 copay, and for children, no copay, which is probably okay. But that just creates all kinds of demand without any accountability. Whereas on the other hand, if you take the subsidies that were given to the insurance companies under Obamacare and partially to subsidize insurance premiums under under Obamacare and for the people, if you take that money and you just give it to folks, put it in an HSA for the indigent, and you say, and for those who just, a family of four barely squeaking by on their lower middle income level, then I think it's a way to involve them in the market. They are going to shop for insurance plans. Another part of the Republican plan is to have plans aplenty so that people can and truly shop, and I think it works that way.
Yeah, well, I guess at some point there's going to have to be some kind of compromise on the matter. I know there's a concern about that. There's a concern about the expansion of Medicaid. And so I know this is not going to be a done deal, but I think at some point, you're going to have to take what you can get in some situations.
Right, there you go. There you go. Absolutely. There's no way that the perfect plan, which is the Rand Paul plan, that can pass. It's just not going to pass muster.
It's kind of like the flat tax. It's kind of like we'd love to have that, but we don't get it. All right, Dr. Tobler, we'll be there on Saturday for you, 6 a.m. Appreciate you popping in, as always.
We'll be unpacking all of that.
All right, that sounds good. It's the Randy Tobler Show, 6 a.m. Coming up, Judge Napolitano, Doug Giles, and would you believe it? Lacey Clay.